Hello. I just thought I would do a Facebook Live video, just having a discussion about the current state of world affairs in my perspective. Um, First, let me say, today is September the 11th, the anniversary of the World Trade Center bombings and the aftermath of what happened on those days, on that day. The actual story is like during September the 11th, 2001, I was employed by American Airlines. During my day, I found out that the attack happened at work, handling day-to-day customer traffic in terms of reservations and such. On that day, I was working at the Eastern Reservation office in Connecticut, and it was a very dynamic day. You know, it was a hard day for my coworkers when they found out that it was our planes that went down, and we were dealing with that loss. Plus, we were also trying to maintain a sense of professionalism during the day to assist our passengers and assist, making either canceling reservations or making accommodations. You know, that we didn't know when the airspace would open up. We were constantly being updated by policy and procedures in terms of getting people refunds for their tickets, and it was like a really scary day, and dealing with it, at the airline, talking to real people who were experiencing real loss associated with the aircraft going down. Unfortunately, at the time when I was talking to these people, I could not release names of the passengers because that's a violation of American Airlines policy and FAA rules and a bunch of other security rules. We could not tell who was on that plane. So what we did was we did the best we could out of a bad situation during that day. And I have a lot of those conversations that are still floating around in my mind with these people who have lost people on the plane. And then like a couple of days later, I was down at Ground Zero, seeing what happened so I could bring back to the office what I saw, to share with my coworkers. And that was a very traumatic day, for me too, because I was smelling, what it smelled like. I was experiencing that tragedy in front of my eyes, And yes, we lost people in my company. I lost coworkers, So it's a very hard time, and I still deal with trauma from that day, like everyone else who was working for American Airlines, and then it still haunts me in my dreams. What I dealt with, what I saw and what I heard, and the people that I was trying to help on the phone. It was a very traumatic day. Yet, I survived it. I'm still here. We should remember that, there was people that who were like me who were also trying to deal with that as well, and then, a couple months later, we lost our jobs because of it, because people weren't traveling as much. I got laid off. And then a while later, I got rehired, and I ended up in Las Vegas, Nevada. Still, people are still dealing with that tragedy. And yes, what happened with that Republican guy is very tragic for his family. I get that. But he also spread a hate about my community. He spread hate and lies about a lot of other people, which caused great harm for them too. It's hard for me to have compassion for the man, but I also have some compassion for his family, who lost a father and stuff like that. And just like all the lies that he spread and stuff like that were terrible. You know, I am not here to hurt anyone. I'm here just to live my life, without harming anyone. And I don't. And I've dedicated my life and existence to helping my community and other people that need a voice. And recently I've had a lot of really mean comments on my posts. But I am still here. I will always be here, and I will always be as strong as I am. And we have to understand that there's a lot of people out there dealing with all these tragedies, right? There's so many people in my community that are dealing with all the hatred that are fostered, like people that guy. But I'm saying that we all have to understand that words have consequences, and that guy, caused a lot of consequences on people like me who are transgender, on women's rights, and other issues that aren't, have a major impact on people. I'm just trying to say, I'm here to try to do the best I can for my life. I'm here to try to help other people, if I can, And yes, really the only thing I fear is taxes, And that's it, like in the last, I've experienced a couple, major losses in the past week, all right, that I'm still trying to process. That were family of nature, all right, that were close to me. Yet I'm still here, trying to help people, trying to fight the good fight. And that's all I can do. I could do my best. I'm still struggling financially. My taxes aren't paid yet. I still need $1,500. By the end of the year to pay my taxes all, I could lose my house. It took me a long time. It took me 40 years of renting to be able to own a house. But here I am. And there's a lot of tragedy going on in the world, especially America. We are dealing with an ideological collapse of democracy at the hands of Donald Trump and his cronies. Yes, it's hard. But you have to understand. I'm 61 years old. I've survived a lot. And I'm still here. Still fighting. And still trying to live my life on my own terms. And that's all I can do. That's all anyone can do. If you spread hate, karma's going to get you. Of any kind. If you spread disinformation that causes harm, karma will get you. And everything that I talk about is real, authentic, truthful. What affects me, what affects people that I know, what affects my community. I speak the truth authentically as I can. However I feel. Even if it's down the dumps. That's normal. Be able to express your emotions and feelings is a gift. If you don't like it, if you don't understand it or not. And I'm lucky that I have the strength to share everything that goes on with my life in a public nature. To hopefully give other people courage. And understand that they are not alone. I know I'm not alone in what I'm dealing with. Many people are struggling with taxes. Many people are struggling with homelessness. Many people are going to be facing starvation for the first time in their life because of what's going on in America. And that's the reality. I didn't vote for the person in office now, and I wish to God he wasn't elected. But, here we are. So for every day, I have to be strong for myself. I have to be strong for other people sometimes as well. I constantly speak up for poor people. And most of my advocacy and political actions are for poor homeowners in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania who are barely making it. Just like me. you know. We get tired of people, you know, especially politicians, flaunting, you know, them doing fun stuff while we can't, while they raise taxes that cause hardships to others, like myself. Yet, I'm still going to be here, still going to deal with reality face on. I don't drink alcohol. I don't do drugs. I don't do any other mind-altering chemicals. All right? Nothing in my life is masked. Everything is dealt with in a real way. All right? And just to know, there are people like me in rural areas of America who are conservative, that are struggling at this moment, that don't have a voice. You know, I am lucky that in the past week, I have received 4.9 million views of my social media content. And most of my content is discussing in a way that I can, by my own viewpoints, on what poor struggling homeowners are going through, what transgender folks are going through. You know, I'm just trying to lend my voice, which, you know, it's scary. It takes a lot of courage to be an outed transgender woman in America, especially now. But here I am. And I'm going to do the best I can to, like, amplify the struggles of my community, what I go through, and what other people are going through. If you're a politician, hopefully I get to talk to you so I can explain the true impacts of what your policies are to poor people. And a lot of these people, if they were poor when they were growing up, and then they ended up being privileged, they don't realize this. They were lucky. There's so many other people that are still poor out there, and I wish I could help them. I wish I could be out of financial debt, but here I am. Now I have to pay my taxes, or I'll lose my house. That's the reality. People should not be able to lose fully paid off homes just because they can't afford taxes, and I will stand on that. You know, that platform. You know, people are struggling out there. People are experiencing a degree of hate that I have never seen in my lifetime. And look at all the degree of hate that's been focused towards me. Yet I'm standing here, confident enough to speak out publicly that I will never be bullied. I will never bow down to other people's ignorance. I am here. I was born in America. My dad fought for the military in Korea to defend America. I should have all the rights that other Americans take for granted, like full civil rights. There are no statewide protections for transgender or LGBTQI people in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Yet I live in Pennsylvania. There has been things that are done to me that would be considered hate crimes in other states, other countries. Yet I'm still here, fighting for my rights. That I shouldn't have to fight for anyway. It is so stupid that I have to fight for rights that are granted everyone else, including people who moved here. Some of them have more rights than I do at this current moment. If you're LGBTQI in a freaking state that doesn't grant you full civil rights, I stand with you. I do. Good to see you too. I do. I just took care of my cats and I fed them and I played with them and stuff like that. You know, and took it, you know, and that's all you can do, you know, but at the end of the day, there's certain things that I'm 61 years old. I'm a cancer survivor. And there's certain things that I want to do before I die. I can't afford them because of taxes. which is not a fair situation. You know, taxes should be income based. If you get a traffic ticket, it should be income based, because all these taxes and these fines and stuff like that disproportionately affect the poor rather than the rich or privileged few. All right. You know, I got a speeding ticket a couple years ago, right? It took me months to pay that off. All right. I paid it off because I took responsibility and accountability for my actions. Yet another person who would get the same fine that I did, it would be nothing to them. Yet I struggled to pay that off, but I did in the end. You know, real estate taxes, if they have them at all, should be income based. But yeah, the system is failing me everywhere, every way I look. All right, the system is failing poor people. The system is failing poor homeowners, poor renters. What these politicians don't realize is when they raise taxes for homeowners or taxes associated with homeownership, those taxes hurt renters too, because landlords will pass that cost off to the renters all the time. All right, I'm just not talking homeowners. I'm talking poor struggling renters. If I lose my house, I cannot even get an apartment because they looked at earned income. It has to be 3 times what your rent. You have to have, 3 times your income per month to rent an apartment, and I don't have that. So I'm just reporting, and I'm just talking. Thank you, Anthony. Hello, Mark. But at the end of the day, right, there are poor, struggling people that, under the current system, are not getting help on either side of the political spectrum. My county raised our taxes, property taxes, 21.8%. And the people who voted for it were Democrats. And one of those Democrats is now running for Congress. And I can't support that. I can't support him. Because the fact of the matter is his decision to raise taxes has had a negative impact on so many people who live in my town, including me. I take that personally. All right. I'm 61 years old, and I'm just trying to live my life. I want to go out and have fun. I want to go to a beach. I want to do the things that other people take for granted. I worked hard all my life. I got disabled. I wasn't paid. I didn't have an income for 4 years. I lost everything that I worked hard for. At the end of the day, the system has failed. Poor people, disabled people, people of the LGBTQI, and other disenfranchised communities. And yes, I will never stop fighting as long as I'm alive. I'm outed. Oh, hi. Yeah. Okay, remember one thing. They're not small people. Everyone should have the same say in America. The Constitution of America says we, the people. That means everyone will live there. There's no with we the people, there's no small people. Should be all equal under the law. The Constitution says we the people. That means everyone. Everyone in the LGBTQI should have full protection, full rights, and be able to, what they say in the Declaration of Independence, to seek enjoyment. All right? We should all be able to have enjoyment. We all should be able to do enjoyable things. We all should be able to live our lives. It should not be only for, privileged people and people who got lucky in their life. All right? And, I want everyone to understand. I'm not trying to hurt anyone. I'm just trying to make it better for poor people in America who are struggling. I talked to lawmakers, I posted on social media, and yes, I do have a voice. In the past 7 days, close to 5 million people have seen my content on social media. I have the numbers directly from Meta, from Facebook. And yes, we the people need to demand to stand up for our rights. We don't need our rights to be stripped away from us systematically by conservative dogma. You know, when you look at it all together, that everyone should enjoy equal rights. And God said, God was for everyone. You know, Jesus sacrificed his life for us. If you're religious, all of our sins. All right, we're all sinners in the Bible. We're all equal under the Bible. You know, and like when people refer to LGBTQI and also reference Sodom and Gomorrah, Sodom and Gomorrah happened because people were worshiping false idols. Remember? It was not geared towards the LGBTQI community. You know, the people should understand that. I am not a fetish. I am not a freak. I am a person. I am human. Hear me roar. I'm a trans woman who happens to be an elected official. Hear me roar. All right, yes. And I'm a trans woman who has a voice, who is not afraid to use it on any way that she needs to use it on, including the media. I've been featured in the Philadelphia Inquirer. I've been on CNN. I've been on Fox and Friends. I've been on media sources from outlets all over the world as a no transgender woman in America. You know, other privileged trans women have escaped America already. Some are ready to go. You know, some trans women have been able to raise over $10,000 to leave America. Yet I'm here to stay. And people should support people like us who are here to stay, who are going to be fighting the hard fights. You know, people like us should be able to enjoy our lives instead of every day having to fight for our mere existence. But at the end of the day, I was born in America. I should have all the rights as any American citizen. And hate has no place in my house. Hate should have no place in your house. Ignorance. If you're ignorant about the trans community, please read the true facts about people like me. We exist. We will always exist. There's archaeological evidence that we existed before the Bible. And we're here. We'll always be here. You cannot erase me, because I'm too well known. I can't be erased out of websites either that are controlled by American interests. I'm too well known. My history, my existence has been documented, just like so many other trans Americans and transgender people from all over the world. We will not go away. We will not be erased. And we will continue to fight for our rights. You know, that's the main thing. I will continue to fight for my rights. I will continue to be strong. I have no choice. I can't afford to leave America. Hell, people won't even donate enough for me to pay my taxes. You know, yet they would donate money to someone to leave the country. I don't blame them for leaving America, but please support the trans people who are happy to stay here like me. Without support, significant support. There's trans people in these freaking country areas, rural areas, that are screaming, that want to be, that want to feel safe And since I'm public and I live in rural America, I will use my voice however I can, with whatever opportunities are presented. I will not go away. I have no choice. I'm here I have to stay and fight. I can't afford to leave. And I'm just like many trans Americans that are like been scapegoated. But we're not scapegoats. We're not throwing hate. Our community as a whole does not throw hate. You know, with all those anti-transgender laws and legislation all over the country, there's over 900 at this moment. You know, spreading hate and ignorance about our community, the trans community. And that's not right either. My thing is, if you hate me, talk to me. Face to face instead of being a keyboard warrior. I'll tell you how it is. I will give you the scientific information. I have it. You cannot erase transgender people ever from the story or narrative of the United States of America. We will not go away. We are not scapegoats. We are not fetishes. We are true Americans. And with this, remember, I'm here for you. I'm here for all the people who are struggling at this moment. Hi, Rowan. That are struggling right now. And I use my experiences because on Facebook and other social media, because I know other people are experiencing the same issues as me, but they don't have the voice, but I do at this moment, so I'm using mine. It made me be a target. I've been a target of hate groups for many years. I'm still here. And just remember to love yourself. Pick up your little kitties. Oh, hi, Olaf. Oh, kitty. You know, pick up your kitties or your pets and just pet them and say, I love you. Meow, 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 meow. You know? I love you, like kitty. Yeah. Just remember that. Love yourself. And take care. And this is Stephanie Fritsch signing off from Wickenesco Township, northern Dauphin County, Pennsylvania, in the Appalachian Mountains. Good night.